Sakura is one of the most disliked characters in Naruto. To be more exact, she's the most disliked character that is not a villain, and even then she is hated on more than most antagonists. You could make an argument that people dislike Danzo more, but Danzo is not written to be likable. In fact, he's a well-written character, and the fact he is so disliked means that the author is accomplishing what he intended. Sakura is not intended to be disliked though, and it's quite astonishing how much of a roller coaster it is trying to like her. I'm not one to constantly complain about her, but I'll admit she has some negative qualities and some very low moments. In this video, I'm going to heavily analyze Sakura as a character as time progresses in the story, and I'm also going to explain why she is so hated. Sakura is first directly introduced in Chapter 3. She is shown to have a crush on Sasuke and she finds Naruto annoying. She even beats up Naruto after he kissed Sasuke. Overall, she isn't portrayed as a deep character at first, and is mostly used for comedy. Let's compare this introduction to other Team 7 character introductions. Naruto is first introduced in Chapter 1, of course, and we see him as a class clown at first. As we read on, though, we see that he is actually an outcast with no parents and no friends. On top of that, he even has some type of demon inside of him. He isn't a talented ninja, but he still plans to be the Hokage. He shows his potential by summoning 1,000 shadow clones at the end of the chapter, and because of that, he graduates his ninja academy after recently failing. Naruto is a fun character, but he also has layers. He leaves us wondering about how he was orphaned and why there is a demon inside of him. But at the same time, he loves ramen and doing pranks. He's a deep and well-written character that gradually changes as the story goes on. Sasuke is directly introduced in Chapter 3, and he is a mystery. He is portrayed as being the top shinobi in his class, and someone who wants to do everything by himself. In the same chapter, he scolds Sakura for trivializing Naruto being an orphan, and that reveals that he is an orphan as well. Sasuke may not have a fun side, but he has a defined personality, and gives us many questions about him that gets answered as the story progresses. Sasuke is a deep and well-written character that heavily changes as the story progresses. Kakashi is directly introduced at the end of Chapter 3, and first meets Team 7 in Chapter 4. Most of his face and body is covered up, and he doesn't really reveal much of who he is to Team 7 either. We do get to see his thoughts though, and he makes many mental notes when talking to Team 7. As the story progresses, we see that he does have a defined personality, but he's a mystery for a long time. The three male characters in Team 7 are well-written characters that many people love. They have defined personalities, conflicts, and ambitions that develop as the story progresses. Sakura is the outlier in Team 7 though. Sakura originally had very little personality or ambition. Her character was that she liked Sasuke. That was it. She is constantly around characters that attract our attention, but even lesser characters like Ino, Hinata, and Tsunade are much better characters than Sakura in early Part 1. Okay, I'll admit I'm rambling here, but that's only because I have so much to say. I'm going to show Team 7's character introductions, and this will show what all the characters are like in a broad fashion. Here they are.
I'm Kakashi Hatake. Things I like and things I hate. I don't feel like telling you that.
My hobby is eating different kinds of ramen and comparing them, and my future dream is to be the greatest Hokage!
I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything, and destroy a certain someone.
What I like, the person I like is...
I think we all know who is not a deep character out of these four characters. Anyway, from this point on, Sakura has no notable backstory that slowly gets revealed, and that's one big reason why people don't show interest in her. Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi have their backstories fleshed out until Part 2, and Sakura didn't have this allure from the start. On top of that, her conflicts are being over-dramatic, and she's kind of bland in general. She's heavily overshadowed by her team members during the Land of Waves arc. She gets focused on more during the shooting exams, but she comes off as pitiful, and the readers just don't like to look at that. She worries about falling behind, but this conflict is not that interesting and not very well done. This is what begins the Sakura is useless circle jerk online, and she never recovers from it, because the other Team 7 members are just so much more powerful. Looking deeper into her uselessness conflict, we see that she thinks about that during most of the Force of Death. This conflict is completely overshadowed by many other storylines though, until Naruto and Sasuke are passed out at the same time. She begins to show that she can stand up for herself, but it gets ruined. The first revealing of her backstory shows that she has problems with Ino because they both like Sasuke starting from a young age. Nobody cares about that. The only thing it reveals is that the author can't write female characters, and he thinks a female character should be defined by her male love interest. Her big character moment is her cutting her hair in order to get free of an enemy's grip, and this isn't nearly as cool as Sasuke trying to sacrifice his life for Naruto, or Naruto rampaging because he thought Haku killed Sasuke. I do like that after this character moment, she says that she's willing to do anything to protect Naruto and Sasuke. She intentionally takes kunai wounds and bites her enemies because that's all she can do. It is a roller coaster though, because we constantly see Sakura and Ino flashbacks, and it just takes away from her good moments. It would have been much better if this Ino and Sakura backstory didn't exist, and we just saw Sakura power through her uselessness. This is not the case though, and instead of continuing her uselessness conflict, it gets put on hold. What replaces it is the dreaded Ino and Sakura conflict over liking Sasuke. On the roller coaster that is trying to like Sakura, one of the lowest points is Sakura versus Ino. It is easily the most boring fight in the series with several stupid moments. The only special ability these two share is Ino's mind transfer jutsu. It was kind of cool how she immobilized Sakura, but Sakura breaks out of the jutsu just because she had an inner Sakura. Then they both get a double knockout and both get disqualified. It's just, I can't even talk about it. The only good thing about this fight is that Sakura and Ino make up, and thank God that this conflict ends here. Words can't express how bad this fight and conflict is. Sakura is at rock bottom at this point, but the only place she can go is up, and she does. We do begin to see that Sakura actually cares for Sasuke. She worries about his curse mark and Orochimaru's promise that Sasuke will seek him. There are other small moments that reveal that she deeply cares for Sasuke, and it is more than just an infatuation at this point. This comes to a head when she intercepts Sasuke leaving the village. This is the first time she cried in the series, and it wasn't annoying for the viewer. She pleads for Sasuke to stay, and this is a well-written moment for her. Of course it leads to nothing, but she showed that she really did love Sasuke. By the end of the arc, she has a change in character, which is good. At the beginning of the arc, she just cries and begs Naruto to bring Sasuke back. This is an unnecessary weight that Naruto has to bear, but by the end of the arc, she changes her mind. She tells Naruto that next time she will help him, and this is a satisfying moment. It gets even better when she demands Tsunade to become her teacher, and Tsunade agrees. When we first meet Sakura, we have neutral feelings towards her, but gradually she becomes less and less likable with some really low moments at times. By the end of part 1, she has recovered some, and there's even a great amount of hope for her after the time skip. This promise is delivered on in the very next arc, and this is the highest moment for Sakura's character. During the Kazekage retrieval arc, Sakura is a good character in my opinion. This arc brings a lot of firsts for Sakura too. This includes her strength being relative to those around her, and her not crying when faced with adversity. The Sakura being useless joke should have ended here, but sadly it didn't. She's able to save Kankuro's life from being poisoned, and no other shinobi from the sand was able to do that. She also, of course, fights Sasori with Chiyo, and Sasori was one of the most powerful characters in the series at that point. Before I talk about the Sasori fight, I want to bring up that her personality is really fleshed out in this arc. She isn't constantly orbiting around Sasuke, instead we get to see her personality and who she really is as a person. It's very satisfying, but let's look into her fight with Sasori. Before this fight, Sakura had done very little fighting at all because she was not powerful at all. This fight is a turning point for her character though, and we finally get to see how much stronger she has gotten. Sakura really shines during this fight and it's amazing. With help from Chiyo, she was able to fight someone who is one of the most powerful characters in the series at this point. And Sakura and Chiyo do happen to be a perfect counter for Sasori, but despite that, Sakura is still very impressive. The only gripe I have with this character moment is that she's just a clone of Tsunade. It takes away from the satisfaction we get from her jump in power. Other than that, though, she shows how smart she is when she tricks Sasori into getting his third Kazekage puppet destroyed. It's also nice that instead of moping around about Orochimaru and Sasuke, she gets motivated by the idea that Sasori could have information on them. That shows us that she has matured as a ninja and is able to use her emotions to help her in a fight instead of hurt her. This is definitely my favorite arc for Sakura. I think many people can agree with me there. I think that if she had continued on this path, then we would have seen a lot less hate for her. People would have complained about part 1 Sakura, but it would be way less than how it is now. The struggle with liking Sakura is a roller coaster, and right now we are at a peak. After the Kazekage retrieval arc, you would think that Sakura would stay on the good path she is on, but that's just not the case. Skipping forward to when the new Team 7 was at a standoff with Orochimaru and Kabuto on a bridge, she begins to become unlikable again. For starters, she gets knocked out early, and we don't get to see her do any fighting. She could have fought Kabuto a little bit, but I guess it wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway. The worst part for her in this arc is when she just cries and runs towards a four-tailed Naruto. It is so painfully clear that Naruto is not conscious, even for the brief moment that she sees him. Kabuto says that he's a monster and he's losing his consciousness, and Yamato yells that she shouldn't even get close to Naruto. She still runs towards him with her guard down though, and when I first saw this, I was just so disappointed that her character was going in the wrong direction again. I feel like now is a good time to talk about her inconsistency on how smart she is. We repeatedly see Kakashi and Tsunade call her smart, and sometimes she does show that in battle, but other times she's just legitimately stupid. Running towards Naruto in this moment is one of her dumbest moments, and it just doesn't make any sense. She previously displayed that she could control her emotions in battle, but now she can't all of a sudden. Even later in the arc, when Team 7 confronts Sasuke, she doesn't even cry when Sasuke first appears. In fact, she charges at him with the intent to defeat him, and does so boldly. She really flip-flops between being a well-written character and being the dumb crying Sakura like crazy. Even after Sasuke gets away, she only cries a little bit, and tells Naruto that crying won't help, and that they'll just have to try again later. This shows her character progression, but this terrible running at Naruto while crying moment just takes away from all the progress that she's made. If it wasn't for plot, Naruto would have ripped her into a million pieces instead of just bruising her arm. Sakura doesn't do anything notable for the next few arcs, and that's until the Kage Summit arc. I think everyone knows where this is going. I've thought about this for days and I keep rereading the manga, but I just can't come up with the words to describe how I feel. It's not like I have too much to say, it's just that I plain don't understand it. I'm talking about this moment, of course.
I guess, sure. What I said was, I love you, Naruto.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the f*** is that? What is that, Private Pie?
I'm having a tremendous struggle trying to find the right words about this. I'm just going to try to take it baby steps at a time and just try to talk about it. So this starts out with Sai interrogating Naruto over whether or not he has feelings for Sakura. Naruto says that he can't share them with her because he hasn't brought Sasuke back, and this makes Sai decide that he should tell Sakura about it. Sai basically tells Sakura that Naruto loves her and that her asking Naruto to bring Sasuke back is a large weight on Naruto's shoulders. Sakura's immediate reaction to this is just instant crying, and she believes everything that Sai says. I'm pretty iffy on this part because Sakura already regretted telling Naruto that in part 1. That's the reason why she trained with Tsunade, and it should have been clear to Sakura that Naruto was trying to save Sasuke for mainly Sasuke's sake and not hers. I think it would have made more sense if she just got a little sad over it, but what she does next is absolutely baffling. I will say that I have unclear feelings over how she reacts to Sai's confrontation, but what she does next is just jaw-dropping. So she decides to travel to the Land of Iron and tell Naruto, I love you immediately. I thought the days of Sakura being a bad friend to Naruto ended in part 1, but apparently I was wrong. There's just so much wrong in this scene. She says that she loves him so that he'll forget about his promise to her, but this is the dumbest way she could have done it. Traveling all the way to him just to say that she loves him isn't convincing at all, and her confession isn't even that convincing either. Naruto is not a smart character, and even he sees through it. Sometimes Sakura is smart, and sometimes she just isn't. This is easily one of her least intelligent moments. Another one of her goals is to go and kill Sasuke by surprise and do it by herself. This whole I love you Naruto thing is just completely unnecessary for that plan. If she really wanted to take the weight off of Naruto's shoulders, she would have headed towards Sasuke and tried to kill him. Even if it was really necessary to do it, she shouldn't just wing it and do it immediately. She could have told Naruto that she doesn't like Sasuke anymore and she doesn't want him to be saved, and then slowly show more and more affection towards him. It just isn't convincing to all of a sudden just say I love you Naruto. I've done a poor job at analyzing this scene because I hardly understand it, but I do know this. One reason people hate Sakura is because she mistreats Naruto, and this is the pinnacle of her mistreatment. She used to always punch him and criticize him in part 1, but she got over that with good character moments. She seems to have a habit of reversing all of the good she has done though. I've got one last big thing to talk about. This is easily the most overlooked moment when it comes to people hating on Sakura. There was a moment when Obito and Sakura were in the Kamui dimension during the war arc. Obito was paralyzed by Black Zetsu and had one very simple request for Sakura. He asked her to destroy his Rinnegan so that Madara could not take it, and even tells her that he's unbeatable without it. For some reason, though, Sakura just can't gather the courage to do it. She holds a kunai and her hand shakes while she does it. This is why I think Sakura is actually mentally challenged. She's a medical ninja who has dealt with gore plenty, and she understands what would happen if she doesn't do this. But instead, she just takes forever, and this allows Madara to get his second Rinnegan. She is responsible for the infinite Tsukiyomi. My question though is, why does the author make her do this? It serves no purpose to the plot and just makes Sakura look stupid. This scene really shows that the author doesn't understand what to do with Sakura. It's clear that he's bad at writing female characters, and Sakura is the best example for that. She consistently does either uncharacteristic things or does very stupid things. It really sucks that it had to be this way, honestly. She had a bright future after the Kazekage retrieval arc, but it just went to waste. Even if she was overshadowed by everyone in Team 7, she didn't have to do so many unlikable things, resulting in her being hated. Being cruel towards the main character and being unpredictably stupid is just a recipe for disaster. Anyway, I think I'm done ranting. Thank y'all for watching, and like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future. Comment something if you have something to say, and thank y'all for watching, and I guess I'll see y'all next time.